since Run DMC. You know what I mean? Even before that, I think in fifth, sixth grade, or I can't even, those are the vivid memories. But yeah, I've been educator. I was just thinking about it for like 25 years. Actually, I was just thinking about that right now. But been in education for about 25 years. I was a computer programmer, software consultant for about 3 years before that in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley. And then, but haven't looked back since. Love being in education. Taught high school math and computer science for most of those years. And then the last, I'd say, 8 years, I left the classroom, um, and became a consultant. But I would say, like, even when I was in the classroom, like I was bringing hip hop culture into the classroom. Like, I feel like I was innovating what the classroom looked like, especially a high school math class, like where a lot of kids don't have good experiences. A lot of trauma happens with math and stuff. So I had co-wrote a big grant at my high school and painted the classroom walls with whiteboard paint. So I had whiteboard paint all around, so students would be up doing math on the wall. Wrote a small music grant with some beat pads for mobile music studio with the beat pads with iPad stuff. Had PA speakers, had a Serato DJ turntables in there, so kids could just vibe while they were and make music and spin, play DJ while they were doing music or doing math, make it a fun environment. So it's kind of cool that kids used to think that it was an art class, and they would think that I taught art in there. I was like, wow, it's another creative subject. Like, math is creative. We need creative problem solving. Computer science, you need creativity. And then became a consultant, did some consulting for a while. When I left the classroom, I worked for Brown University for about 3 years for a computer science algebra curriculum program. So I was teaching teachers this bootstrap program, which is like computer science, teaching algebraic concepts through computer science as a research project out of Brown. So that was cool. I did that for like 3-4 years. I still do some training for them during the summers. So big firm, huge computer science advocate, STEM advocate. And so I started at the county office, Kings County Office of Education here in Central California, which is about an hour away from Fresno, if y'all are familiar with that, just in the middle of California. And then I had met JJ. Actually, the reason I even know Josh, it comes down to JJ here, who I met first, because I would get off teaching and then go into this. There was a local bomb restaurant that a buddy of mine owns, a Mediterranean gastropub that my buddy Shafiq Dada owns. And JJ was the bartender there. JJ always had the personality and the smile, people would gravitate toward. He was the perfect bartender. And we talk about hip hop, education, life, and then I had this opportunity to do this keynote, like a really big keynote. I started to do presenting and speaking, and I was like, man, I got this idea for this keynote. I want to swing for the fences. I feel like doing like a little version of a rap, you know what I mean? And then I was like, but I've never done anything like that before. And JJ's like, man, I'll help you out. I'll be on stage with you too. He goes, I'll give you the comfort so I could be the hype man while you catch your breath in between verses. I was like, so like JJ helped me out with that. Like, I mean, put in work. JJ helped me like take risks. And then that, knocked it out the park. That led to like a lot of other opportunities. And then I think connecting after that sometime is when I met Josh, and Josh was not living in the area, even though he was from Visalia at the time, but met him and his wife, I think at Rocky Hill Brewery, right? I think that was when. And then like fast forward to I'm working at Kings County, and my colleague Liz and I, Liz Norris, who's the principal at JCM, we were both consultants at the time, and the pandemic hit, and we're not wanting to do whatever the hell we were supposed to be doing. So we started moonshot dreaming about how we used to each use hip hop in our classes, her as a English teacher, and how she used to analyze poetry and rap lyrics as poetry with her students, and me, how I had the mobile music studio in my math class. And we started talking about that. She's like, we should do that again and have like a mobile studio that we could lend out to schools. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And so something happened. And fast forward at the end of the summer, Liz called me and she was like, "Hey, you know that thing we're talking about? Let's do it." I just became principal at the part-time principal at the juvenile court school. Like Liz is she's a whole different level of leader right there. Oh yeah, Elizabeth Norris is amazing. And I there's nothing she can't do. and she will find ways to make it happen, which is awesome. And so she says, "Yeah, I'm the part-time principal at this juvenile court school. Let's get that studio going that you were talking about." And she goes, "But let's do it like professional grade equipment." And I was like, "Oh, all the stuff I had done was like iPad stuff. You Googled stuff. Like I have no expertise." I said, "But I got homeboys. I got a crew. I got a network." So I called up JJ, and then JJ said, "You should hit up Josh. He's moving back to the area." So then it was like, "Josh, hey, can you submit like 2-week contract? What would that be? You can get paid to come in and teach these kids to consult, build the music studio, build 3 music studios for JC Montgomery, and then teach these kids, you know." So Liz and I co-wrote some hip hop lessons, and then Josh co-wrote too, but Josh was really the teaching artist that kind of drove the driving force of it. And then I brought in another buddy of mine, Eric Gonzalez, who runs a nonprofit. He's a graffiti artist that runs a graffiti art nonprofit, social justice, community-based art projects. Urbanist Collective, amazing group. So we were representing hip hop culture, just bringing in young local artists, right? So, yeah, and then I mean, from there it's just been growing. You know, that was like 3.5 years ago, and then we just finished the 3rd iteration of that program, and it's dope. You know what I mean? It's like even just being a hip hop head and being around it and being able to see the magic that like Josh and then JJ got to come in one day. I did like a djembe drum circle jam session with the kids. Like, you know, to watch these youth actually like, you know, get regulated so much that I can see those childhood smiles, that they can actually be the children, be allowed to be the children that they are, and be their, you know what I mean? Like to see that happen is like pretty powerful. And just the fact that I have friends like this, you know what I mean? And they're connected, and then get to make new friends, you know, like Dr. Gann, and, you know, and then appreciate each other's work and start working together and thinking of ideas of how we can keep growing this thing. Cause I feel like the team just gets like stronger and stronger. It's like every new day, we gotta, you know what I mean? Or even Dr. Gann, we've had conversations the last couple of weeks about like another grant, Puerto Rico, the, you know, computer science and hip hop, you know, like, so it's cool, man. It's all love. I don't know. I just feel blessed to be at the position I am in my life. You know what I mean? To be in education, doing stuff I love with people I love, and shit. The fact that I get to do hip hop and go to work, that's fucking ridiculous. Excuse my language. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. That's just
the dream come true.
It was all a dream. I keep saying that all the time. Like, I'm not gonna pinch myself. Oh yeah. Well, a long time ago, I went to Chicago, this Museum of Science and Industry. That was like, man, like 2001, and they had like they had this hip hop exhibit there. It was so dope, and they had like Biggie's clothes, Tupac's notebooks, and I always like loved the fact that I got to be this close to Tupac's notebook. You know what I mean? And so I had like pictures of Tupac's clothes and Biggie's clothes and Tupac's notebook in my class, and this was like 2004 through 2006. And then so the kids would be like, "What is that composition notebook?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's Tupac's notebook." They were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, you know." The kids thought it was as dope as I did. They're like, "You listen to Tupac?" I was like, "Yeah, you know." So
There'll be a movie about him one day.
oh yeah, you know what I mean? You know how it is where like people are like, "Oh, I'm having trouble. Can you take this student?" Yeah. Like, well, you met a lot of my teacher friends, Dr. Gann, at the pizza spot. You and Josh did, like, and that was the crew back then. like me, my friend Steve Shamelby, Lisa Allen, we were the crew that like when students would be disruptive or whatever, oh, send them to Ed for math, Steve for history, Lisa for history. So, and we're like, dude, come on, you know what I mean? Come on, whatever, we got you, whatever. And we'd have no beef with those kids whatsoever. Like it was just, you know how it is, you know what I mean? But we just created that environment and, you know, let the kids be into what they're into. You know what I mean?
What would you say your like your driving force is
For like, so
for what you do? I mean, like how does one go about like deciding they're going to do that, or what influenced you to do that?
I don't know, man. I just get like bored. Like what do I don't want to be the same as everybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I mean, like I almost left teaching. I will say that I almost left teaching because I was copying what other people was doing, and I was like, man, this is not, you know, the teachers that were right above me. Like even though God bless them, but that wasn't my style at all, and I wasn't happy being like doing that because I wasn't myself as a teacher yet. I was playing the role of a teacher that I probably saw on TV or like, you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't really grow into being myself, my authentic self as a teacher to probably like 8 years in, trying to, you know what I mean? Whatever media, the system, whatever, does to you. But then I feel like after a while, it's like I stopped
Mm.
giving a shit about it. And then talking to the kids being real, and then when you start talking to them like that, they're like, "Oh, that's cool, man. You're talking about." Like I remember when NWA's when the movie came out, the Straight Outta Compton movie came out,
Yeah, yeah,
and like, I mean, I went with my buddies from high school, and we brown bagged it and drank 40s right before we went to go watch the movie because that's how we used to do. You know what I mean? Like, and then all I know is for the next week, I was just like, that was the most brilliant filmmaking I've seen. It was like Martin Scorsese, Ice Cube is like Martin Scorsese, you know what I mean? Like the writer, the cinematographer, and then so I be talking to these kids about it, and the kids are like, dude, I can't believe that my math teacher likes like NWA. I was like, bro, I was in sixth, seventh grade when that stuff was out. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Like, and so it's funny because they started calling me Straight Outta Campos. Yeah.
that's amazing.
And then I was like, that's actually pretty funny. And then they were like, yeah, you should make a sticker. You should make posters. And then I was like, what am I gonna do with that? Oh, I'd put that sticker on my skateboard, Campos. And I was like, all right. So I would order up some stickers, got me on the sticker kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think like what I've learned is what I'm happy, like where I'm at in my position is that I think I'm becoming my authentic self, which allows students to be their authentic self. You know what I mean? And other teachers too, because I get to work with